Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into some exciting off-season updates for the Detroit Lions. The main story we're covering is two potential sign-and-trade options the Lions could explore to strengthen their roster. But that's not all. We've got two more updates to share, including another sign-and-trade possibility and some intriguing insights into how the Lions are shaping up for the 2024 season. So, stick around because this is going to be a packed video. The first story is all about two potential sign-and-trade options the Detroit Lions could pursue this offseason. As we know, the Lions are coming off a strong 2023 season, but there's always room for improvement, especially if they want to make a deep playoff run in 2024. The Lions have built a solid foundation under head coach Dan Campbell and general manager Brad Holmes, but to take the next step, they might need to make a bold move or two. Let's break it down. Option 1, Chris Jones, defensive tackle, Kansas City Chiefs. Chris Jones has been a dominant force on the defensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs, but with his contract situation up in the air, the Lions could swoop in. Jones is a game changer who can disrupt opposing offenses, and pairing him with Aiden Hutchinson would give the Lions one of the most fearsome defensive fronts in the league. A sign-and-trade deal could involve sending a mid-round draft pick and a player like Levi Onwuzurike to the Chiefs in exchange for Jones. This move would instantly elevate the Lions' defense and make them a serious contender in the NFC. Jones is a three-time Pro Bowler and a two-time Super Bowl champion, so his pedigree speaks for itself. He's not just a run stopper, he's also a proven pass rusher, which is something the Lions could use more of. In 2023, Jones recorded 12 sacks and 15 tackles for loss, showing he's still at the top of his game. His ability to collapse the pocket and create havoc in the backfield would be a game changer for the Lions, who are looking to improve their pass rush and overall defensive consistency. Adding Jones to the Lions' defense would not only improve their ability to stop the run, but also create more opportunities for Hutchinson and the rest of the defensive line to get after the quarterback. Imagine a scenario where offenses have to account for both Hutchinson and Jones on every play. It would be a nightmare for opposing offensive coordinators. The Lions' defense has shown flashes of brilliance, but adding a player of Jones' caliber would take them to the next level and make them a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Option 2, T. Higgins, wide receiver, Cincinnati Bengals. The Lions already have a solid receiving core with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams, but adding T. Higgins would take their offense to the next level. Higgins is a big physical receiver who excels in contested catches and would give Jared Goff another reliable target. The Bengals might be willing to part with Higgins if they can't agree on a long-term deal, and the Lions could offer a package that includes a second-round pick and a young player like Josh Paschal. This move would give the Lions one of the most dynamic offenses in the NFL. Higgins has been a consistent performer for the Bengals, even with Jamar Chase drawing most of the attention. In 2023, he had over 1,000 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns, proving he can be a true WR1 if needed. His size, 6'4", 215 pounds, and ability to win contested catches make him a nightmare for opposing cornerbacks, especially in the red zone. For the Lions, Higgins would provide a reliable option on third downs and in critical situations, where his physicality and hands would be a major asset. Pairing Higgins with St. Brown and Williams would give Goff an embarrassment of riches at the receiver position and make the Lions' offense nearly unstoppable. St. Brown is already one of the best slot receivers in the league, and Williams has the speed to stretch the field vertically. Adding Higgins would give the Lions a complete receiving core that can attack defenses in every way imaginable. Whether it's short, intermediate, or deep passes, the Lions would have the weapons to keep defenses guessing and on their heels. Why these moves make sense. Both of these options are speculative, but they're worth considering if the Lions want to make a splash this offseason. The Lions have built a strong core through the draft and smart free agent signings, but to compete with the elite teams in the NFC, they might need to add a few more difference makers. Chris Jones would transform the defense, giving them a dominant presence in the trenches and taking pressure off the secondary. T. Higgins, on the other hand, would give the offense another weapon and make them one of the most balanced and dangerous units in the league. The Lions have the draft capital and young players to make these kinds of moves without completely mortgaging their future. A mid-round pick and a player like Onwuzurike for Jones, or a second-round pick and Pascal for Higgins, are reasonable prices to pay for players of their caliber. These moves would signal that the Lions are all in on winning now, and they would immediately elevate the team's chances of making a deep playoff run in 2024. What's next? Both of these options are exciting, but they're just the beginning. The Lions have the flexibility to be aggressive this offseason, and these sign-and-trade scenarios could be the key to taking the next step. And speaking of making a splash, wait until you hear the next story. It's going to blow your mind. Up next is the second story about two more potential sign-and-trade options the Lions could explore. While the first two options focused on defense and offense, these next two could address other areas of need. Option 1, Brian Burns, edge rusher, Carolina Panthers. Brian Burns has been one of the most consistent edge rushers in the league, and the Lions could use his explosiveness off the edge. Burns is entering the final year of his contract, and if the Panthers are hesitant to pay him, the Lions could step in with a sign-and-trade offer. A potential deal could involve sending a first-round pick and a player like Julian Okwara to the Panthers. Adding Burns to the Lions' defense would give them another elite pass rusher to complement Hutchinson and create nightmares for opposing quarterbacks. Burns has been a bright spot for the Panthers, even as the team has struggled in recent years. In 2023, he recorded 11 sacks and 18 quarterback hits, showing he's one of the most disruptive edge rushers in the league. His ability to get after the quarterback would take pressure off Hutchinson and allow the Lions to rotate their pass rushers more effectively. With Burns and Hutchinson on the field together, the Lions would have one of the most dangerous edge rushing duos in the NFL. Option 2, Justin Simmons, safety, Denver Broncos. The Lions' secondary has improved, but adding a proven playmaker like Justin Simmons would take it to the next level. Simmons is a ball-hawking safety who can create turnovers and provide leadership in the locker room. The Broncos are in a rebuilding phase, and if they're willing to part with Simmons, the Lions could offer a third-round pick and a player like Tracy Walker in return. This move would solidify the Lions' secondary and give them a true difference-maker on the back end. Simmons has been one of the best safeties in the league for several years, and his ability to read quarterbacks and make plays on the ball is unmatched. In 2023, he had 5 interceptions and 10 pass breakups, showing he's still one of the top playmakers in the NFL. For the Lions, Simmons would provide a veteran presence in the secondary and help mentor younger players like Kirby Joseph. His ability to create turnovers would also give the Lions' defense more opportunities to get off the field and put the ball back in the hands of their offense. Both of these options are intriguing, and they show just how aggressive the Lions could be this offseason. But we're not done yet. There's one more sign-and-trade option you need to hear about, and it might be the most exciting of them all. And finally, the third story is about one more potential sign-and-trade option the Lions could pursue. This one is a bit of a wild card, but it could pay off in a big way. The Detroit Lions already have a strong running game with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, but adding a player like Derrick Henry could take their offense to an entirely new level. Let's dive into why this move, while unconventional, could be a game-changer for the Lions. Derrick Henry, running back, Tennessee Titans. Yes, you heard that right, Derrick Henry. The idea of adding Henry to the Lions' backfield might seem unnecessary at first glance, given the talent they already have. But let's break it down. Henry is a physical downhill runner who has been one of the most dominant forces in the NFL over the past several years. Even at 30 years old, he's still a force to be reckoned with. In 2023, Henry rushed for over 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns, proving he's still capable of carrying a heavy workload and producing at an elite level. His combination of size, speed, and power makes him a nightmare for defenses, especially in late-game situations when he can wear down opponents. For the Lions, Henry would provide a bruising complement to Jahmyr Gibbs' speed and David Montgomery's versatility. Gibbs is an explosive playmaker who can break off big runs and create mismatches in the passing game, while Montgomery is a reliable, hard-nosed runner who excels in short-yardage situations. Adding Henry to the mix would give the Lions a three-headed monster in the backfield, allowing them to attack defenses in multiple ways. Henry's ability to grind out tough yards and control the clock would make the Lions' offense even more balanced and difficult to stop. Imagine a scenario where the Lions can rotate Henry, Gibbs, and Montgomery, keeping all three fresh while relentlessly pounding defenses into submission. The Titans, on the other hand, are in a rebuilding phase and might be willing to part with Henry if they can't agree on a long-term deal. A sign-and-trade scenario could involve the Lions sending a mid-round draft pick and a player like Craig Reynolds to Tennessee in exchange for Henry. While this move might seem like a luxury, it could pay off in a big way for the Lions. Henry's presence would not only take pressure off Jared Goff, but also open up the play-action passing game, giving Goff more opportunities to connect with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and the rest of the receiving corps. One of the most exciting aspects of this potential move is the psychological impact it would have on opposing defenses. Derrick Henry is a player who commands respect and attention every time he steps on the field. His ability to dominate in the fourth quarter and wear down defenses would give the Lions a significant advantage in close games. Additionally, Henry's leadership and experience would be invaluable in the locker room, especially for a young team like the Lions that is looking to make a deep playoff run. Of course, there are some concerns to consider. Henry is 30 years old, and running backs tend to decline as they enter their 30s. However, Henry has shown no signs of slowing down, and his unique combination of size and athleticism makes him a rare exception to the rule. The Lions would also need to carefully manage his workload to ensure he stays fresh throughout the season, but with Gibbs and Montgomery sharing the carries, that shouldn't be an issue. While this move might not be the most likely, it's definitely fun to think about. Picture Derrick Henry in a Lions uniform bulldozing through defenders, breaking off long runs and dominating in the fourth quarter. It's a scary thought for opposing defenses and could be the missing piece to take this team to the next level. The Lions have already built a strong foundation, but adding a player of Henry's caliber could push them over the top and make them legitimate Super Bowl contenders. This option might not be the most likely, but it's definitely fun to think about. Imagine Derrick Henry in a Lions uniform. It's a scary thought for opposing defenses. And that's a wrap on today's video. We covered 3 potential sign-and-trade options for the Detroit Lions, including Chris Jones, T. Higgins, Brian Burns, Justin Simmons, and even Derrick Henry. Which of these moves would you like to see the Lions make? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.